Yes, we do. We need strategies for living. So are you ready? You ready for your daily dose of Radio Rehab?
I'm ready if you'll turn the mic on. Are you ready?
Yeah, well, that is a great question, isn't it? Hey, folks, welcome. Welcome into 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Welcome into another edition of Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillan, and she's psychotherapist, PLPC Lauren Leon McMillan. And we are delighted that you are with us today here on Strategies. You know, I thought when I was through with, with college algebra, I was through with math. What do you mean, ha?
Ha.
Yeah.
Have you lived in the world?
As it turns out, math is important for everything. Yeah.
It's all around us.
And turns out there is something called a golden ratio that can make any relationship thrive.
So we're not talking about the Fibonacci sequence.
No. We're not going to Fibonacci. We're going to stay away from fibbing here when we're talking about relationships. But we are talking about, the fact that there is no relationship, Lauren, that's free from conflict. Nope. But what makes a successful marriage? What makes a successful relationship? It hinges
friendship and turning towards each other.
Yeah, in other words, balancing positive and negative interaction, because any relationship, realistically, we're going to have interactions, and some of that interaction is going to be positive, some of that interaction is going to be negative.
Right.
Dr. John Gottman, he is one of my very favorites in terms of
John and Julie.
Doctors John and Julie Gottman. They are best-selling authors and couple experts, and they've extensively studied what makes relationships thrive. And he's discovered a principle that's called the 5-to-1 ratio. He calls it the magic ratio.
Okay.
So we are going to talk about what the magic ratio is today here on Strategies for Living. We've got a lot to unpack, as it turns out. Thank you, folks. Thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living. We appreciate you being here with us, and we appreciate our sponsors making it all possible. The Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Learning RX, and Pintail Roofing, and Hempress, Cannabis with Love, and the Shreveport Little Theater. Back in a moment, we're going to talk the 5-to-1, our magic ratio, discovered by Dr. John Gottman today here on Strategies for Living. We'll unpack it together when we come back. Stay right where you are. Come back with us. Hey, let's talk about the Robinson Film Center, 617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. How many times do I say there is no place like Robinson Film Center?
You don't say it enough.
Well, no, I probably don't. And there is no place like the Robinson Film Center. I mean, where do you go to see current movies that you're not going to see anyplace else? Well, Robinson Film Center. Find out what's showing at robinsonfilmcenter.org. And then you've got Abby Singer's Bistro, right? Full-service bistro and bar, second floor of the Robinson.
That's what I can't get enough of.
Oh, man. So, here's what you want to do. You want to join the crowd, join the fun, become a member. You get discounts on movies, you get concession upgrades, you get bistro deals. RFC, 617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. RobinsonFilmCenter.org.
Reading begins not in the classroom, but in your child's brain. I'm Dawnisa Walker with Learning RX Shreveport. If your child struggles to read, Maybe he or she has trouble focusing or comprehending. Learning RX Shreveport offers a science solution to reading problems, working one-on-one with your child, targeting his or her reading skills. Today, call Learning RX Shreveport. Make an appointment to have your child assessed. I know you want to help your child, so does Learning RX Shreveport.
And welcome into Strategies for Living here on 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan. We're talking about doing the math today. Doing the math that'll keep your relationship balanced. Turns out, of course, there is no relationship. If you've done relationships, obviously you know there is no relationship that's free of conflict. But successful relationships, particularly successful marriages, hinge on balancing positive and negative interactions, according to Dr. John Gottman, who is a best-selling author. And as you say, John and Julie Gottman are renowned psychologists, and they have extensively studied what makes not only what makes relationships work,
What makes them not work.
and what makes them thrive.
Yeah.
And so they've discovered this principle, and they call it the magic ratio, the 5-to-1 ratio. And the ratio suggests that for every negative interaction, and the negative interaction would be things like criticism and defensiveness, could be dismissiveness, could be passive-aggressive body language, like eye-rolling. So there should be 5 or more positive interactions to keep the relationship healthy and resilient for every one of those negative interactions.
right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep the relationship healthy and resilient, right?
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that he even posits that if it's a 1-to-1 ratio, we're on the brink of breakdown. Meaning if it's one positive to one negative, that's an issue.
That's an issue. That ain't good.
Right.
That ain't good at all. So we don't want that. So what we want to do is we want to use the 5-to-1 ratio because it works magically. It creates a buffer of positivity that keeps couples, navigating their conflicts effectively. Couples are going to have conflicts.
Yeah,
All
no doubt.
couples do, no question. So, we mentioned some of the negative interactions. What are some of the positive interactions? Things like showing appreciation, expressing love, just sharing laughter, and offering support. All of those, let's think about it like a bank account. Let's think about it like an emotional bank account. Because every relationship does in fact have an account. It's we can't see it when it's not visible, obviously, like you look in your bank account balance. However, if you're tuned into the relationship, you pretty well know where that balance is, right? And so the deposits build up over time, and they help cushion the impact of negative interactions, and that makes it easier to resolve conflicts and move forward without lingering resentment.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about some ways, 5 of them, to incorporate that 5-to-1 ratio into your relationship. So this is kind of a, if you will, gives you the heads up, gives you an advantage if you use these things that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So one of the things is to express appreciation daily. So making a conscious effort making a conscious effort to not only recognize that's important, but to verbalize your gratitude for what you see your partner doing. It doesn't matter how small it is, right?
In fact, I'd say the little things are what make the biggest difference often.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of expressing gratitude for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And this has kind of been linked to, it's kind of like taking a daily vitamin for your relationship. It again, if you show gratitude, it's akin to taking your daily relationship vitamin. There was a 2012 study that found that individuals who feel more appreciated by their romantic partners tend to be more appreciative in return. Now think about that.
What you appreciate appreciates.
Well, yeah. And now we've got something going. We've got something, and we talk about that word synergy oftentimes on this program. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So, I mean, think about it back to the bank account, right?
Right.
Think about it as, okay, well, there's some interest being added in. If you do these things, then you're going to get a little something extra. Louisiana, we call that lagniappe. Yeah, you're going to get a little something extra.
Yeah.
But the appreciation leads in turn to more appreciation, and that leads to greater responsiveness to one another's needs. And appreciative individuals report also higher commitment levels. They're more likely to remain in the relationships over time, right?
And I think maybe, this is one of those first things that often goes. It's the old saying, what things you begin to take things for granted.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important to keep it going, to remind yourself, okay, I truly do appreciate what we have going on here and what we're building and creating together.
Most definitely. So how do we do this effect? How do we express appreciation daily? How do we do that effectively? Well, one of the things that we can do is we can zero in on the little things. We can zero in on them and acknowledge them.
Right.
So you're just talking about taking each other for granted, and that's easy to take the everyday actions for granted. But acknowledging those can make a big difference. So, did your partner make you coffee this morning? And
Yes.
Yeah. And are they going to take out the trash?
Yeah.
How about
Doing the dishes.
Doing the dishes after, one
Cooking
cooks a meal, the other does the dishes. But here's the deal. Whatever you do, whether you're cooking the meal or whether you're doing the dishes,
or parts of both,
or parts of
whatever.
both, to acknowledge that, to say thank you. Those are little things, but when we recognize those efforts, just with us, it doesn't, it can be just, I appreciate you.
Right.
Or thank you for doing that. I appreciate that you're always thinking of me. That goes, acknowledging the little things goes a long way. Now, another thing that we can do is we can zero in on our partner and think about their strong points.
Yeah.
Think about their strengths. So could be their, you're a great cook.
You think so?
You really have, you've really dove in the last year and a half, and you really like doing the kitchen thing.
I do.
Yeah.
I do enjoy preparing.
And you love creating new things. And I love trying some of those new things that,
I'm glad you do.
I do.
I appreciate that.
I think that, so your cooking skills have become a strength. Another thing is I think both of us have a pretty decent sense of humor.
Yes.
And
I so appreciate your sense of humor.
Sometimes it kind of be a little nutty, but
We both are. That's why it works.
So maybe that's why it works. Maybe one of you has an ability to especially stay calm under pressure. Anyway, just to say that, to compliment it. I love how you always make me laugh, even on the, or maybe especially on the tough days. Or, you have such an eye for detail. Or that dinner that you made. I know you said you didn't know what you were going to do when you walked into the kitchen, but this is fantastic. Those kinds of, those kind of little compliments, complimenting strengths can go a long, long way. Celebrating achievements. This is another thing we can do. We can acknowledge the little things. We can compliment strengths. We can celebrate achievements. I don't think we do this enough.
Yeah, like you mean you and I are in general.
In general, any of us. I don't think we celebrate.
Yeah, I agree.
The small things. We tend to we celebrate obviously the big milestones.
Yeah.
But almost every day there are accomplishments.
Absolutely. And I think we get so focused in this world of, okay, what's next? What's next? I've done this. What's next? Towards the bigger goal, that we forget that it's each little actionable step that brings us closer to where we want to be and what we're creating.
Absolutely.
And not only that, but it's about the journey in and of itself that's the most important.
Absolutely. So,
and one of the most important jobs we have, I think, as couples, is to witness each other.
That
right?
We're here to be witnessed. I mean, there's billions of people on the planet, like it said in the movie, but you're here and I'm here to witness you.
We're witnessing each other's lives.
That's part of what marriage does.
And a huge part of that is being able to celebrate each other.
Yeah.
And each step along the way, the ugly, the pretty, and all of it.
I'm so proud of you for finishing that project. Yeah. I know you put a lot of work into that. Are you, that situation we just moved through, you handle that with such finesse and such grace. And I admire your strength. It's those little things, the expressing appreciation daily. We're talking the magic ratio in relationships. It's 5-to-1 is the magic number that Dr. John Gottman came up with. And we're giving some ideas about, what are 5 things you can do to make this magic ratio work for you. Talking about it today here on Strategies for Living. And we've got more. We'll be right back. Stay where you are. Come back with us. It's been going on for 101 years now. I'm talking about the Shreveport Little Theater. Been enriching our lives through the performing arts and education and opportunities to volunteer service guided by professional artists. They've been at it a long time. And up next, beautiful, the Carole King musical is the summer musical this year. And have you seen the 24-25 season? My goodness. Neil Simon's Brighton Beach memoirs, Steel Magnolias, It's a Wonderful Life, Doubt, I Love You, You're Perfect Now, Change, and then May We All, a new country musical. You need to get your season tickets right now. ShreveportLittleTheater.com. It is American theater at its best at 812 Margaret Place in Shreveport. Shreveport Little Theater. ShreveportLittleTheater.com. And welcome back into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan, and we are talking. We're talking about the golden 5-to-1 ratio. That ratio, that golden ratio that Dr. John Gottman talks about. can make any relationship thrive. And we're talking about, we're getting down into the numbers, into the math, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we've talked about is express appreciation daily. Another thing we can do is we can prioritize quality time. Quality time is so very important.
It is.
You know, there was a survey done, I don't know how many years ago, but they had couples who were together for a certain period of time come up with how much real quality time that they spent together. And what they made up do is just not time spent in the same room.
Right. Meaning not distracted, but one-on-one talking.
One person reading a magazine or a book, one person watching TV. You're in the same room, you're in the same house, but you're not, together. So they boiled it down to, how much are we doing things together? And if I'm remembering the numbers correctly, once they took out all of that superfluous stuff, 22 minutes a day.
Yep.
Yeah. And so relationships, change and become...
There may be periods where that's what it is.
Right.
But it's not intended to be that way the whole time.
No.
Hopefully.
And so what you want to do is you want to maximize as much as possible the quality time in a relationship.
Because we really don't have anything else to give each other.
Yeah.
Really.
Quality time means I am fully present to my partner and I'm making an effort to connect on a deeper level. And there's research that shows that everyday non-conflict interactions boost the health and the functioning of a relationship. So couples who dedicate more of their daily interactions to talking rather than arguing report higher levels of satisfaction, and they perceive their relationships as more positive, and they feel closer. They feel closer to their partners.
Because, that's keeping up with quality time is another way for us to stay in the loop, right?
Right. Absolutely.
To keep up to date with each other. Where are you at?
Yeah.
Because we're always changing.
That's the nature of being human, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, you're going to be, you wake up in the morning, you both get out of bed and do your morning routine and go your separate, most people go your separate ways, and you're a little different when you come back together.
Sure.
8 to 10 hours later, and that's just human.
Right. And there's the old saying, that throughout your marriage, there's you've married 7 to 9 different people, right? Because as you grow and change and evolve, you change.
Yeah. And there's another way to say that. There are 7 marriages roughly within your marriage. Yeah.
Right.
We may need to do a show on that.
That would be a good
the 7 marriages within your marriage.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some ways, Lauren, that we can do this one, prioritizing quality time.
That kind of backs up one of the reasons why it's so important to maintain quality time.
Absolutely.
To keep up with who the other is.
Yeah, because there's an evolving, there's a changing that's going on, and we're just acknowledging that. So what are some things that you can do? Well, date night. Couples who do regular date nights, and we're talking planning date nights. But regular date nights are a great way to prioritize quality time. And I like to see couples sharing this. I mean, and what I mean by that is, some date nights we do together, some date nights you take responsibility for, and I go along with. Some date nights I take responsibility for.
And there's all kinds of fun ways to do this these days, too, in terms of resources.
Yep.
I mean, there are little scratch-off books you can get to do together if you want to take out the decision fatigue of what do we want to do.
Yep.
There's tons of cards and activities that you could just look up on Pinterest.
Absolutely. There's a bunch of things
And
available.
if money is an issue, you can always, there's tons of ideas there in terms of, staying home and making it different.
Yeah. So, but the deal is planning something special. Maybe it's a dinner at your favorite restaurant. Maybe it's a movie night. It could be a movie night at home. Could be a movie night at the movies, or the Robinson's always a great place to go. But it also could be a spontaneous road trip. Just, hey, let's go. But the effort you put into planning and enjoying these dates shows your partner that you're really valuing time together, right?
Yeah. And I know for some people that can sound so unromantic to plan, but it's an important piece.
Absolutely. Quality
and
time.
if your relationship is important to you, I would say, that's something you have to prioritize, based on the individual's involved schedules. And if sometimes planning is a necessity.
Absolutely. They got to pencil me in here. Enjoy quiet moments. Sometimes it's just being in each other's presence is enough. So spending quiet moments together without the pressure, the need for conversation, the need for doing activities. It could be just watching a sunset. It could be cuddling on the couch or in your favorite chair, right? It could be holding hands. It could be enjoying shared silence. But these moments, they're quiet moments, but they're moments of quiet connection. And that quiet connection can be incredibly
even
powerful.
More profound than the conversations.
Yes, because it allows for the energy to flow between you, and then for each one of you to have the silence available within you individually to experience,
It really,
this is nice.
Yeah, it really can be a bedrock for a true soul-to-soul connection.
Yep.
Because it allows space for the fullness of who you are to be there.
Absolutely. Interest in each other's hobbies. This is another way that that you can prioritize quality time. I mean, take the time to learn about what your partner is really into. Learn about and even participate in each other's hobbies and interest. It may not be something that you would normally do, but showing interest in what your partner loves can bring you closer together and provide new ways to connect.
Yep.
Like, for instance,
radio.
Did you ever think you would be doing a
Nope.
radio program? No.
Nope.
I mean,
This is where that was born from.
this exactly. And so there you go. Another important thing you can do is apologize and forgive. I think forgiveness is like a shower or a bath.
Right.
You're going to do that daily, maybe even a couple of times a day. They're crucial skills. Apologizing and forgiving are crucial skills because they help you navigate conflict. They help you handle conflicts gracefully, and they keep the negativity from lingering too long.
Yeah.
Negativity is like acid. It erodes. So you don't want to keep it around.
And there's no need to haul it into every single present moment.
Right. Right. It's been said, Karina Schumann from the University of Pittsburgh says forgiveness is a transformative process that involves letting go of negativity toward the transgressor and potentially increasing positive feelings and benevolence toward them. So
this is where, that solid foundation of safety and trust and commitment come in big time.
Absolutely. So how do we do this? Well, if you need to apologize, when, it's not if,
Yes.
when you need to apologize.
We're human.
Do that sincerely. When you make a mistake, we all do. We all make mistakes. We all hurt our partner. And, if you're really connected, you can see it, you know it. And so give a heartfelt apology. So acknowledge.
And
what does this do? It's acknowledging. Hey, I messed up here. It's acknowledging the mistake. Then it's expressing regret, and then it's taking responsibility. You know,
and making an actionable step to prevent what necessitated the apology to begin with, right?
Yeah, and no buts.
Right.
No buts.
Oh, yeah.
Don't make excuses or justify your actions. You know, I'm really sorry what I said earlier, but okay, well, you got to get off your butt. So apologize sincerely, take responsibility, make amends whenever possible. Try to make amends for the mistakes. And this,
I think this can be an issue both ways.
Yeah,
it's important to make amends, and it's important to, on the other end, accept
absolutely,
amends.
absolutely.
Because Gottman calls those repair attempts, right? And so it's important for us to recognize and appreciate.
Be open to the fact that your partner is attempting a repair attempt.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then focus on solutions. When a conflict comes up, they will. Focus on finding a solution rather than rehashing past mistakes.
Yeah.
In other words, Gottman talks a lot about making the problem instead of making each other the problem. So what we're doing is we're working together to understand, let's understand together what went wrong and how can we prevent this issue in the future, or these similar issues to this in the future. And this, this team approach, it's a collaborative approach. It can actually strengthen the bond and make both of you feel valued and feel heard.
Yeah, because together you value the relationship.
Absolutely.
And it's about working towards that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are talking today about Dr. John Gottman's magic ratio. It's a 5-to-1 ratio. He calls it the golden ratio. And it can make any relationship thrive. Expressing appreciation daily, prioritizing quality time, apologizing and forgiving. Oh, but we've got more. So come back with us here on Strategies for Living. We'll be right back. You're going to see the difference. When you go to Azalea Cleaners, you'll hear about it too. Azalea Cleaners has been fine dry cleaning since 1958, plus laundry, alterations and repairs, comforters, wedding gown cleaning and restoration. You'll hear about it from your friends because they'll see it too. They'll notice the Azalea difference. Azalea is convenient. 732 Azalea Drive, 9220 Ellerby Road, and 9227 Mansfield Road. Plus, the front door of your home or business with Azalea's delivery on demand. Just text SETUP to 249-8283, and Azalea will pick up your clothes and deliver them back clean and fresh to you. You can't get closer than that. That's the Azalea difference. You'll notice it right away. Others will too. The Azalea difference. Fine dry cleaning since 1958. Text SETUP to 249-8283 and get the Azalea difference. AzaleaCleaners.com. And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living here on 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. And Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan, talking today about Dr. John Gottman's golden ratio, the magic of 5-to-1. You need a little math for your, you need just not much, but a little bit of math for your relationship.
I appreciate this. I do think it's important that this is not about keeping score.
No,
right? Or keeping tabs.
No, because what you're doing, this 5-to-1, you're doing that inside of you.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And you're doing that for, this is your part of it. Let your partner do his or her part of it. You do yours.
Yeah, we don't have to be meticulous about, okay, we had an argument, so I have to do 5 of these things.
No, then you'd be missing the whole point.
Right.
You'd be missing the whole point.
I just wanted to,
I'm glad you
unfold that a little bit.
I'm glad you did.
I can hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've talked about expressing appreciation daily, especially for the small things. We've talked about the prioritization of quality time. We've talked about apologizing and forgiving. Now, let's talk about perspective. Every single person on the planet have perspectives. And so there's two of you in the relationship, so there's two perspectives.
Right. And I would say, in fact, our perspective is our gift to the world. And no one is the same.
Right.
And that's the point.
That's the whole point.
Right.
Yep. There was a study published in the Journal of Sex Research about considering your partner's viewpoint, shifting focus from immediate self-centered desires to broader relationship concerns and long-term consequences. So this perspective taking can lead to behaviors that, really ensure long-term happiness for both partners. So individuals who consider their partner's viewpoint feel closer.
Sure.
And they feel more caring, and they're more inclined to spend more time together. So again, there's
two.
Yeah.
There's two in one, and so part of the two is the other's perspective.
Yep.
And you are creating it together.
Yep.
And so it's important to remain curious.
And when you show concern for each other's perspective, that can also help de-escalate conflicts. Supporting relationship well-being during challenges,
Because
both within and outside the relationship,
Well, because the facts there are, you can totally understand someone's perspective without agreeing.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're investing the time to really understand and hear your significant other, right?
Yeah.
All right. So one of the things you can do here, how do we do this? Well, the effective way to do this is truly listen. Really listen to what your partner is saying. So this means no interrupting or no preparing rebuttal, which is what so many of us do in our minds that block our ability to really listen to our partner.
And that's a sneaky way of that's a sneaky defensiveness.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is, Gottman talks about the 4 deadly horsemen.
So when you truly listen to what your partner is saying without interrupting or preparing your rebuttal, you're giving your full attention. One way you can do this is eye contact, maintain eye contact, nod.
Another way is to mirror, right?
Yes.
To repeat back in your own words what you're hearing.
Yes.
That is so important, I think, in communication and in, telling your partner that I do hear, I am listening. What I hear you saying is
Yep.
blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. There you go. Then recognize and acknowledge what your partner's emotions are. It even, you mentioned this earlier, Lauren, even if you disagree with the point of view, the feelings that your partner has are valid.
And they're not right or wrong.
No, feelings
I can
aren't.
understand why you feel that way.
Yes.
And I see it this way.
Yeah. But affirm the legitimacy of their perspective by saying things like, I understand why you feel this way.
Okay, yeah.
Given your experiences, it makes sense that you're hurt by this, even though I certainly didn't intend that, but it makes sense to me. So recognize and acknowledge your partner's emotions, and then be open to compromise. Accepting your partner's perspective sometimes means you got to compromise. Yeah. And it doesn't mean giving up your own views. It means finding the middle ground that respects both sides' feelings and needs. So compromise shows your commitment. You're committed to the relationship, and you're willing to work together. Yeah?
Yeah.
So open to compromise. So
I think another big piece of this is communication.
Oh, absolutely.
In perspective.
Absolutely, yeah.
And being able to ask the questions and to express and know your own needs and wants.
Yep.
Or at least talk them out.
Yep. There's a fifth one we got to talk about, and that's keeping it light.
Yes.
Light. So research shows that humor is absolutely one of the strongest predictors of relationship satisfaction. It is one of the most valuable tools that any relationship can have. It can diffuse tension. It can create positive interactions. It can strengthen your emotional connection. So how do you bring more laughter into your relationship? Well, share inside jokes with each other.
Yeah.
They're unique to your relationships, and they can be a fun way to bond. They remind each of you of your shared experiences, and they bring a sense of closeness. So create and revisit the little humorous moments to reinforce your connection. And then playfulness, playful teasing, lighthearted, playful teasing can add a fun dynamic to the relationship. But be gentle, keep it gentle.
Right.
And respectful. Make sure it's respectful.
That's where the perspective taking comes in, right? To
Absolutely.
be able to know where your partner's lines are.
Yep. And then the everyday situations. Find humor there. Look for humor. Look for it. You know, if you look for it in everyday life, I promise you, it's all around us.
It is a hilarious life, my friend.
Sometimes the very funniest moments come in unexpected situations. So laugh together at the little quirks of life. Maybe it's a clumsy mishap. Maybe it's a funny observation. But finding the humor in the mundane helps keep things light and enjoyable.
Yeah.
So the golden ratio, 5-to-1 ratio, this can make any relationship thrive. Expressing appreciation daily, prioritizing quality time, apologizing and forgiving, accepting your partner's perspective, and keeping it light.
Yes.
The golden ratio can make your relationship even more golden than it is. Maybe even
shine.
yeah,
Shine.
yeah. Maybe even make it what's beyond gold. What do we all want beyond gold? You know?
White?
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that.
I'm not sure where you're going.
Beyond gold. Making your relationship beyond gold.
Platinum.
That's
where
it.
you're going?
That's it. That's where I was going. Thank you. We'll be back here on Strategies.
Hi, this is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
And welcome back. Welcome back into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillan and David McMillan talking about the golden ratio this evening. Dr. John Gottman's work. And, you know, Dr. John and Julie Gottman have, I'm not going to recommend any. Oh, my goodness.
And everything they've done, I think I would recommend just about.
Yeah, and you can, you know, if you want to just Google Dr. John Gottman in your Amazon, John Gottman books, you'll find a ton of his work out there. And you really can't go wrong on on any of his stuff because it's well researched, it's well done, and things like
it makes sense and it works.
It's down to earth, just like this golden ratio thing, the 5-to-1 ratio. This is common sense, isn't it?
Right.
And
yet so few of us stop to think.
Yeah.
and really bring it consciously into our lives. And with that, that's the gift the Gottmans have given us.
That's
truly.
it. And so, we just need to remind ourselves. I mean, we know there's nothing, there's nothing about any of Gottman's stuff that we don't know. We just,
Right.
it's reminders.
Mm-hmm.
It's general reminders to ourselves. Oh yeah, I need to do that. And by doing that, we can make our relationships so much more rich.
Yeah, and what they're intended to be, which is to make each other's dreams come true and to put the goodness out into the world.
Absolutely. Ultimately becoming our own little culture.
Yeah.
And, gifting the world that way. Well, thank you for gifting me, Lauren.
Oh, thank you.
And folks, thank you for gifting us by listening to Strategies for Living. We appreciate you being with us, and we appreciate our sponsors making it all possible. The Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Learning RX, and Pintail Roofing, and Hempress Cannabis with Love, and the Shreveport Little Theater. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call to make, who would you call? And what would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Lauren Leon McMillan, I'm David McMillan. See you next time on Strategies for Living.